quiet on the sit. We're starting Torah Chaf Zayin today, and Torah Chaf Zayin is based on the same manner of exchange, this really strange exchange between the sages of Athens and Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania about a chick that died, a chicken's embryo that died in its shell, in the egg. Where does its nefesh, whatever, its soul, go out, being that an egg is a closed enclosure? So he answered them in it goes out the same way it came in. Okay, so we learn in Torah Chavav, we learn that this is, the frach is a euphemism for the tzaddik, and the question is, where do the tzaddik, when he's davening, where is he supposed to really put his biggest koyach and mesiras nefesh? And the answer was where he has machshava zoros, because the machshava zoros represent the nitzosos de kedusha that have to be elevated. So now we're learning it from a different angle altogether, because the Rebbe says as follows: Ki limshoches kol ha'olam la'avodosoi, in to pull the entire world to avodas Hashem, lo yivdu shchem echad. So the entire humanity will lend a shoulder to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one. V'chulam yashlichu elilei kaspam v'zahavam, and everybody will discard the idols of gold and silver. V'yispalalu l'Hashem yisborach levad, and they will daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu alone. This is accomplished in every generation commensurately with the amount of peace that exists in the generation. Because when there's peace, when there's no competition, when there's no impetus to prove to one another, I'm better than you. Okay, in which case, everything is kosher, for me to prove that I'm better than you. And they investigate and they explain to one another what the truth is. They explain what is the tachas of the entire world, for all the shtusim of this world. They explain to each other, at the end, nothing is going to remain from a person except whatever it is that a person is prepared for himself in this world. That's the only thing that he will have, that, for his eternal world. And this brings about that every person discards, his idols of gold and silver, and he pulls himself closer to the truth. He brings himself closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when there's no peace, when there's strife, when there's competition, so people don't get together, and one does not speak to the other from the tachlis, and even when they do get together and they want to talk about the tachlis, still people don't hear the words. People don't hear the words. Because there's machlokes, there's kinna, there's sinna, there's hatred, between the people, there's discord. If I listen to him, that then maybe, then it can mean that his team is going to win, and I don't want that, So as the Rebbe says in Sefer Midas, this Midas HaNitzochan, the Midah of competition, of being victorious, cannot stand the truth, is antithematic to the truth, is mamash the hapach of the truth. It says, it's not and the only way to come to a bechina of peace is not possible ela al yedei he'oras ponim. The only way to do this is through he'oras ponim. In other words, that Hadras Panim, as the Rebbe will explain, it means that the face themselves should shine. There's an intrinsic. We talk Hadras Panim. First of all, Al Pi Pshat means just being nice to one another. I mean, obviously, that's the. But as we'll say later, but we're talking about Hadras Panim on a spiritual level, which obviously, does not negate the pshat of being welcoming, of being. Hadras Panim also means the splendor of the face. You meet some people that they have dignity coming out of their face. There is a Hadras Panim, which is really a manifestation of the Ha'ora of the supernal Panim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mul Pnei Menoira, these are very, very high Bechina, as we will say. This is what it says in the Pasuk, V'yavo Yaakov Sholem Ir Shechem. And Yaakov came Sholem to the town of Shechem. Shechem is a remez, is a hint of the inyan of Le'ovdo Shechem Echad, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with everybody lends a shoulder, gets together to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one. Ear, you have a ear. The ear is ear Shechem. Ear is from the root of his oirus. So ear v'kodesh mishma yonoches. An awakening. A holy awakening descends from the Shema. A malach that came from the Shema. This is oirus. So the ear means the service. So this what the whole thing is alluding to is she's also the Soirus of B'chinas of the Shechem Echad, of everybody getting together and serving Kodesh Baruch Hu as one, Walidei Shalom. This represents in the word Yavo Yaakov Shalom, because Shalom is the shleimus, that the two pieces and friends and people complete one another. The Shalom, and the way you get to Shalom is through the Bechina of Yaakov. In other words, V'yavo Yaakov Shalom Ir Shechem, how to come to this Oirus of serving Kodesh Baruch Hu as one. This comes through Shalom, and Shalom is achievable through the Bechina of Yaakov, and as we will learn what it actually means to have the Bechina of Yaakov. But when you get to the Bechina of Yaakov, you get to the Bechina of Shalom, which enables everybody to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one. That is the goal. That means that's the radiation, that's the turning of the face. As Chazal said, Shufra de Yaakov, the portrait of Yaakov, the face of Yaakov, can Shufra de Odom, the beauty and the splendor of the face of Yaakov Avinu was like the beauty and the splendor of the face of Odom Arishon. So you see from that Yaakov Avinu has achieved Hadras Panim, a splendor in Hadras Panim. That's why Yaakov is used as a mashal, as a euphemism for Ha'oras Panim. Bivchinas mevakshei panecha Yaakov. So he says those of mevakshei panecha, in other words, that Yaakov, who is Bivchinas Ha'oras Panim, it says Vayavo Yaakov, in other words, Ha'oras Panim. Through that, Yezoichet to Shalom, it will be a peace in a generation. And through this leads you to Ir Shechem, Yisraelus, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as one person. The Hadras Panim, okay, so what is Hadras Panim that Yaakov Avinu was Zoichet to? We still haven't figured that out. The Hadras Panim ze B'chinas Drusha Torah. And Hadras Panim is the Drusha of the Torah. This means darshaning and understanding what the Torah is saying. שהתורה נדרשת ב-13 מידות הנמשכים מי"ג תיקוני דיקנה. You'll notice that, when we want to bring about the highest bechina of rachamim and mercy on the world, what we're doing is we are saying the 13 midos. In fact, practically, the main thing in Yom Kippur that we keep on repeating is Yud Gimel Midah Shel Rachamim. The Yud Gimel Midah Shel Rachamim, they are the spiritual quarks, kiviyachol, that congeal the light of Kadosh Baruch Hu into Rachamim and bring it down to this world. In physics, the quarks turn energy into mass. Spiritually, the 13 midos, they capture all the words of tefillah. Always, bring about a congealing of the bracha, of spiritual bracha, into a physical dimension. But specifically, the 13 midos shel rachamim, it's called the tleisa tikuna dikna, the rectification of the beard. They comes from Hadras Panim, because in the Olam Yisrael, in the spiritual world, there is a patzif, there is a persona. There is a supernal persona. Actually, this is the highest one of them all, which is called Arich Anpin, which it means the long face. We have the small face and the long face. The Zer Anpin is the small face. This represents inside the spheres, the 6 spheres from Chesed until Yesod. And there is Arich Anpin. Arich Anpin is actually the sphere Sakesa, and in this particular parts of, there are 13 spiritual bechinas. Tzadik, can we? In these parts of the 13 bechinas, spiritual aspects which are called the 13 rectification of the beard. And these 13 rectifications, these 13 bechinas are called Hadras Panim. Kmo shekosov, as it is said, V'hadarta pnei zokin. Hadarta pnei zokin, al pi pshat, means you should respect your elders. But it also says Hadras Pnei, the glory of the face is Zakon, is the beard. This relates to this very, very high bechina of Tikunei Zakon, of the rectification of the beard, which is the 13 midas that comes, that comes to the world. And in Olam Asiyah, these 13 bechinas manifest themselves in the 13 rules which the Chachamim used to darshan the Torah. Eile 13 midos שהתורה נדרשת בהם. There was a bira, neves, samig, dar, just before that, we say 13 midos שהתורה נדרשת בהם. These are 13 rules. When you have a klal, when you have a generality, a rule that's stated in general, and then the Torah gives you a prat, and then it goes and says a generality again. So this means that particular rule for the generality only applies to things. The particular prat the Torah gives serves a purpose, and the purpose is to tell you that rule applies only to, in those cases, that are similar to that particular prat, and so forth and so on. There are 13 such rules. Like when 2 verses negate one another, a third one is needed, to mediate and make, decide, between them. So there are 13 such rules. These are the manifestation of the Hashem Kel Rachum V'Chanun Chapayim V'Chesed V'Emet, which is in Olam Atzilus, which is, when we're in Sfiras HaKesed, in this world, it's Shloishes Remidi Shater Nidreshes B'hem. It's a manifestation of the same Bechina. When a person is Zoiche to be Mevar and Darshan the Torah in Yud Gimel Midas, the Torah is being Darshan with. So it is found, therefore, that a person is achieved out respondent. This follows the same principle that we have learned quite a few times. Everything starts with this Arusa Del Tata. We learned that the Asaga of the nine faculties with which you can perceive or Ein Sof starts with doing the mitzvahs b'simcha. In all the places we always find that the beginning of the process always starts with something that you do here. So the same thing is in order for a person to become a manifestation of Hadras Panim, to be Zoichet Hadras Panim, which is the 13 Tikkun Dikna, he has to, in this world, darshan the Torah through the 13 Midah Shater Nidreshes B'hem. Lefi is the kakus chochmasei b'yud gimel midas anal. And as much as a person cleanses his chachma, he weeds out the demyonis. He weeds out the assumptions, the preconceived ideas, the notion that, wait, don't tell me, I know, wait, don't tell me. Tell me. Learn that as you cleanse your chachma with the midas, ken izdakachus kol rinasei. This is how the voice of his music, of his singing, is being cleansed. Bivchinas zoken ze kon chachma. Zoken is actually an otrikoin. It's abbreviation of zoken ze kon chachma. There is in the Gemara there's a shaila in the Gemara that what is the Indian of Hadras Panim? V'adalta pnei zoken. So the Gemara says halachically, what does it mean? And so there is a certain gather that the Gemara talks about what does it mean to be mehader, somebody who fits the description of zaken. And so some say you have to get up, and say you have to get up when it comes to Daled Amas, to your proximity. Some say that you have to get up as soon as you see him. There's all kinds of levels of what's the pshat of being mehader, of giving respect, of paying your homage, giving homage and paying your respect to somebody who is a pchinas zaken. Then the Gemara goes into a whole mahalach of what is pshat zaken. Who fits me? Just you take an altar goy and you have to get up. There's the Gemara says yes. Even an old goy, you have to respect him. Why? Because he went through a lot of life. This is one of the shittas the Gemara. But one of the shittas the Gemara is that Zoken talks about Talmid Chacham. That Zoken denotes, as Ben Azariah said, I'm like 70 years old. He wasn't 70 years old. He was a young dude. But he was a young man. But it says that his beard got 13 strips of white hair that day that he was mismana to the Rosh Yeshiva. To Rosh Yeshiva instead of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. So this is Dafka 13 strands of white hair. So he says, I look as if I'm 70 years old. So the Gemara says, Zoken is notrikon ze kona chochma. That one acquired chochma. Kana is, an acquisition kinyan. Ze kana chochma. That, the fact that somebody who's just old and didn't do anything with his years, it means just that he ate more potatoes than you did. That's not pshat zoken. That's not the zoken that we are forewarned to be mechaber. Who is that Zok? And somebody who is Zek Kana Chochma, somebody who was now. Okay, now he says low battery. Let me just dismiss it. Okay, and we'll go on. And it says V'zeh Kana Chochma, as we're talking about, because Kana is also something which denotes the Kana. Kana is the throat and the vocal cords from which the call comes out. This is the highest bechina that there is, because the call, the voice, comes before the dibur. The voice comes before the speech. Speech is, worked over kol. Kol is the raw material out of which the dibur is constructed. Now, we'll find in quite a few places that the kol itself, the tikkun of the kol, is a much higher tikkun than just a tikkun of the dibur. There's no way to come to a tikkun of the kol without a tikkun of the dibur. The tikkun of the dibur, the rectification of the dibur, comes through learning Torah with Shloshas Midas. But when you are zeicher to b'msakin to learn Torah b'kol, you have to learn Torah out loud. What happens is that you reach a madrego where the voice itself is being purified. And when the voice itself is being purified, you are zeicher to Hashem in a separate place in Likutei Moharan says that the person cannot admonish anybody. Admonish means be mochiach. Call him out, tell him out, yo, what's the deal with you, man? This is messed up. Unless he's zoicha to kol ha-mochiach haroi, to the voice of the worthy admonisher, the worthy educator. And this is Moshe Rabbeinu was zoicha to such a kol. Because when the voice, that's the quality of the voice, not the words. Because the words of Moshe Rabbeinu were very, very harsh. But when you're zoicha to such a level, to such a cleanliness of the voice itself, what happens is that the effect of your words do not break the person that you are, giving the word for, but fakir is being mechazek him, it strengthens him, it calls him up and it peps him up. It peps him up, to greater achievement, to greater this. In Mitzvah Hashem, we'll continue to talk about this bechina tomorrow.